Hi, everyone. This is my new 5 Minutes Coffee Talk episode. This series is to explain the frontier ML concept or technology in academic and industrial world in 5 minutes. This series is designed by Paul and brought to you by Yidu AI. The voice in the video comes from NLP technology. Later on, maybe you will hear different voice in the series if we change the training data. We will talk about federated learning, a new distributed machine learning idea in 6 short videos. The outline of this topic is shown here. We will talk about the motivation of federated learning, then talk about model aggregation strategies. After understanding how federated learning works, we will show how to implement the federated learning idea in the framework of TensorFlow. We will talk about some real applications of federated learning in part 5 and give a final remark in the last video to finish this topic. Today, we will talk about the motivation of federated learning. Currently, the usual pipeline for most of machine learning-based applications is deploying an initial machine learning model to user's device, then request and collect data from user's intelligent terminal devices. After uploading the user data without label to cloud server, we train and update the centralized machine learning model on the server and push it back to users and terminal regularly, like every week. It is obviously that the centralized machine learning keeps the user privacy and data protection on the paper. Those enterprises who operate the machine learning model can collect and access users' personalized data. Recently, many countries announced their user data protection law in the area of big data and artificial intelligence, like GDPR in Europe and PDPA in Singapore. Another drawback comes from the high latency. Because of the bandwidth, the frequently upload and download between user's device and server will hurt user experience in using apps. On the other hand, because of the resource limit, the centralized machine learning will face a bottleneck for sure. If we upload all the data to server and update the model, we will need a lot of storage and computation power, which has a limit for sure. Lastly, in some business scenario, like fintech, the business nature makes it impossible to gather all the data in one database. This makes the centralized machine learning impractical. Those drawbacks of the centralized machine learning motivate the idea of federated learning, a distributed machine learning strategy. The rough idea is like this: the server will deploy a shared model to user's device at the very beginning. Since nowadays the smartphone and other intelligent devices also have computation power, we can train a personalized model in the device locally with user's personalized data. Then, devices communicate with the server by uploading the model parameters and some encrypted information like the gradients. We use some model aggregation strategy to update the shared model in the server with only users' model parameter and some other computed encrypted information. Without accessing users' data, the server will deploy the new machine learning model to users' devices regularly and the whole cycle will be repeated. At the first glance, federated learning has a lot of advantages. It practically protects user data and privacy, since user will not upload their data to the server. Also, since the user's models are trained by their own data locally, without depending on the communication and computation power of the server, it also solves the latency, storage and computation power problems. It looks quite nice, since even without internet, the user's personalized model is updating locally. But we all know there is no free lunch, right? 2 questions come up naturally. The first one is, why not we just train a personalized model on user's device without the shared model on the server? The second question is, if there is a shared model on the server, without uploading the user data, how can we update the shared model? You can think about these 2 questions by yourself first, and we will talk about them in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you like our content, please follow us. If you have any comments or feedbacks, please leave a message below. Your feedbacks will help us a lot for creating better contents.